So it looks like Andy Cohen may have been forced to ask the hard-hitting questions at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion by Bravo executives. And why is Erika Jayne comparing herself to Coordinator Shah? Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So as you know, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion was filmed on September 10th, just last week, almost a week ago. And from what we're hearing, according to Andy Cohen, everything was covered. Erika opens up about everything, and I know people are very skeptical about it. But according to sources to The Sun, we're hearing that he had to ask those hard-hitting questions because Bravo and NBC Universal allegedly forced him to. If you've been following the channel for a while, we've been telling you that we've been hearing that Andy Cohen and some of the other executives have not had the power that they normally have had because of the failing ratings of various cities in the Real Housewives franchise. As you know, Real Housewives really made a name for Bravo and was the franchise carrying and keeping on the lights at the network. But with these failing ratings, Real Housewives of New York getting an all-time low ratings last season, we're hearing that Andy isn't the prized boy over at Bravo anymore or at NBC Universal, despite still getting every single opportunity. So let's get into this source. This is what they're saying. So following Andy Cohen's remarks, a source confirmed that Andy Cohen, quote, went hard on Erika during this reunion, and now a separate insider is claiming that he did so at the request of the network. They're saying Andy didn't go easy on Erika during the taping. This is what a source told The Sun. The network expects this to be one of the highest rated reunions, so they encouraged Andy to, quote, go there with the questions without exposing the show or Erika to any more legal issues. Okay, because they know Ronald Richards is watching. So also the source claims that Bravo concocted a strategic plan where they required Andy Cohen to ask the most difficult questions right out the gate, just in case Erika Jayne walked off. So this is a quote. They're saying, there's a lot to cover this year, so Erika's story took center stage before the other storylines were addressed. The plan was to shoot the most difficult questions first, so they had the footage even if Erika decided to leave. And if you heard what Andy had to say in regards to what was covered during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 11 reunion, he does talk about how most of Erika's marriage stuff were handled very early on. So this is making us believe that what the source is saying is true. He also confirmed during the Radio Andy conversation that there were no walk-offs this year. And probably because they decided to go in from the very beginning. And Erika knows in order for her to get paid for this reunion, she had to be there. She had to show up. She had to do her job. So despite all the intense, hard-hitting questions, according to the source, Erika still was not happy with the questions that she received. They're saying there were several clashes, and Erika left the reunion unhappy because she felt she was being attacked by the line of questioning. If you followed our report just the other day, some of the questions that were handled during this reunion included Tom Girardi's mistresses, the $25 million lawsuit that she's facing, and of course, Tom's dementia diagnosis. And of course, they do also address the orphans and widows. I would be shocked if they didn't, especially because people like ourselves, Sutton, PK brought this up during the show. And we all would have been judging Andy and the network if they did not ask those questions. So we're hearing that they were covered. And if you've been following this story, we also heard that Erika's legal team had prepped her intensely for this reunion. And of course, she was preparing to take on all of the people that doubted her. Speaking of which, she posted on Twitter last night during last night's episode. I don't know if you guys saw it. We will be recapping it later today, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. She was tweeting up a storm last night, and one of the tweets that she shared was about the scene with PK, Mauricio, Kyle, and Dorit, and them laughing. I mean, it was a funny scene for us. But I get from Erika's side why she would be pissed at Kyle specifically. Let's take a look. So as you can see here, another person posted, let's go there first, Team Erika, but only to her face, which is sort of true. And when you put it like this, when you see the people laughing and you know what Erika is going through, look, I'm trying, I'm trying to be fair. Even if you don't necessarily, let's say, for all sakes purposes, that Erika is innocent, for lack of a better word. Seeing your friends defend you to your face and then have this particular scene, it was a little harsh. Well, she reposted it, says, felt great watching this. I'm sure she got to see all of the footage before the reunion to be prepared for the reunion. I want to know that confrontation during the reunion. A lot of people are speculating that Kyle is sitting next to Andy. If Kyle's sitting next to Andy, we know clearly a production has favorites because Kyle had no storyline. She should not be sitting next to Andy. It should be Sutton and Erika. From what we saw from the video, Erika is sitting next to Andy, but we also hear Kyle in the background. Anyways, back to this. So according to sources, Erika's so upset with her co-stars watching the show back because they backstab her behind her back. She was furious with Kyle. She feels Kyle was the most two-faced to her, and their friendship won't be the same, as if they really had a friendship. Let's be real. So Erika is also addressing the similarities between her situation and Jen Shah's situation from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we've talked about that multiple times. And I told you I'm going to keep the same energy for Coordinator Shah. Before we get into this part, let me just share with you what she says. So a person, Baddie's back. She reposts this image and says this: I don't see Ronald Richards or any of you haters harassing Coach Shah, even though he's literally the same situation as Erika. So of course, because Erika Jayne can't help herself, she liked the tweet. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. And a lot of you have said this. Coach Shah, Coordinator Shah, whatever you want to call him, I agree. They are very similar situations. However, Coach Shah, because he is an attorney, knows how to keep quiet and off of social media. He knows how to conduct himself during this time. Has he benefited from the lifestyle that Jen Shah has allegedly ripped people, elderly people, for millions of dollars? You're not telling me that they lived that fancy lifestyle, even though they rented that expensive rent off of his coordinator's salary, even though it's a little bit less than $500,000 a year. As I said before, we're going to keep the same energy, but we probably won't have as much to report on when it comes to Coordinator Shah because he won't be tweeting up a storm. But we can depend on Jen Shah being messy on social media. We do have a Jen Shah story coming up, so stay tuned for that because that situation has gotten even uglier as well. Guys, I want to know your thoughts on this new update that Andy Cohen was asked to ask the hard-hitting questions, not to his liking, I'm sure. I want to know your thoughts on that if you're looking forward to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 11 reunion and what you thought of last night's episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.